The Power of Manifestation, 10 Inspiring Stories. We're thrilled to present our audiobook, The Power of Manifestation, 10 Inspiring Stories. Disclaimer: this is a work of fiction. All the characters, organizations, and events portrayed in this novel are either products of the author's imagination or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, is coincidentally accidental. Hopeful Stories is a storytelling channel dedicated to bringing you uplifting and heartwarming tales that will brighten your day. Our mission is to share stories that inspire, motivate, and fill your heart with hope. This audiobook is authored by the Hopeful Stories team. It is free to listen to, but please note that it is prohibited to reproduce or store any part of it without our written permission. Without further ado, get ready to be inspired by these 10 incredible stories of manifestation. Discover the power of your thoughts and the incredible things you can achieve when you believe in yourself. Find hope in every story. Introduction. Welcome to a world where dreams become reality. Have you ever felt a deep-seated desire for something so intensely that you could almost taste it? That's the power of manifestation. It's the ability to bring your thoughts and dreams into tangible form. It's about setting your intention, believing in it, and taking inspired action to make it happen. Throughout this audiobook, you'll encounter a collection of 10 captivating stories, each showcasing the incredible power of manifestation in action. These stories are relatable, inspiring, and filled with practical examples of how individuals have transformed their lives by harnessing the law of attraction. But what exactly is manifestation? Simply put, manifestation is the process of creating your desired reality through your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. It's about aligning your mind, body, and spirit with your goals and aspirations. How can you practice manifestation? Here are a few key steps. 1. Set clear intentions. Define what you want to achieve with specificity and clarity. 2. Visualize your desired outcome. Create a vivid mental picture of your goal. 3. Believe in your ability to achieve it. Cultivate a positive mindset and unwavering belief in your success. 4. Take inspired action. Step outside your comfort zone and take consistent action towards your goals. Remember, manifestation is not just about daydreaming. It requires hard work, discipline, and perseverance. You'll need to be willing to put in the effort and make sacrifices to achieve your dreams. By listening to these stories, you'll gain valuable insights and practical tips for manifesting your own desires. You'll discover the power of positive thinking, the importance of taking action, and the resilience needed to overcome obstacles. So, get ready to be inspired, motivated, and empowered. The journey to manifesting your dreams begins now. Story 1. Founding my enterprise after getting laid off. The sun beat down mercilessly on Robert as he walked away from the familiar corridors of his former workplace. Robert was a man in his late 40s, a seasoned IT professional with a steady income. A wave of disbelief washed over him. After years of dedicated service, he had been laid off. His mind raced, filled with worry and uncertainty. The looming shadow of his son's college education loomed large, casting a dark cloud over his future. Due to a challenging economy, his company decided to downsize and employ younger staff to sustain their operations. His manager, Diana, was very sorry to let him down. But she could not do much. She thought that she would be the next one to let go. She knew that Robert was a hard and loyal employee. She told Robert that she would help him to find another job if she heard something. Robert went back to his desk. He looked at his family photo on his desk and touched his son's face. His son, Ethan, was a bright and ambitious young man about to embark on his college journey. Robert had always dreamed of seeing and witnessing Ethan graduate. He had invested countless hours teaching Ethan the intricacies of technology, hoping to equip him with the skills needed to succeed in the digital age. Now, Robert had to pack his stuff. He had no idea how to tell the sorrow news to his family. He hoped that some savings would be enough to survive for a few months. He hoped that his savings would be enough to pay his son's college tuition fees. He hoped that his wife, Eva, didn't need to work extra shifts as the main backbone of the family. He prayed that his hopes would come true. He imagined getting a new job in the next few weeks and attending his son's graduation day. Finding a new job proved to be a daunting task. Robert sent out hundreds of applications for the past months, but to no avail. The job market was competitive, and his age seemed to be a disadvantage. Desperate, he decided to take a leap of faith and start his own small business. He would use his expertise to offer computer repair and maintenance services. Despite the unfortunate situation, he was grateful that Ethan had a full scholarship at the local college. His son also preferred to live with his parents and helped their household economy. Robert felt a bit failed as he wanted to provide his son for the best. He thanked Ethan and supported him with his school projects whenever possible. Indeed, Ethan was happy to help his father's small business. He could practice his skills in information and technology while learning theories at the college. As Robert and Ethan worked tirelessly to build their business, they faced countless challenges. Some of their customers didn't want to pay and left bad reviews, despite the excellent services they gave. Ethan saw the challenges as opportunities. He learned how to handle customers better. Their determination and resilience kept them going. They learned to adapt, to pivot, and to seize opportunities as they arose. When his small business was more established, he contacted his former manager, Diana, to inform her about the services. Diana was very happy to hear from him while struggling with the company situation. It was not easy to work with younger staff who chose to leave the company as soon as they had higher salary offers. So she had an idea to offer Robert a retainer contract to provide computer repair and maintenance services at his former office. Knowing Robert's skills and loyalty, she was eager to work with him again. Diana discussed the idea with the director of the company. To her surprise, the director agreed. Robert was very thankful to Diana. It was not a lot, but he thanked Diana for the offer. It gave him and his family a bit more stability. He felt that everything was getting better for his family for now. He believed that he had passed the storm after the sudden unemployment. One day, a stroke of luck came their way. Robert's wife, a cook at a local restaurant, mentioned that the restaurant was facing a crisis. An influential food blogger had posted a negative review, causing a significant drop in business. The restaurant owner was struggling to contain the damage and needed help to manage the online backlash. The food blogger lied about finding a fly in her soup. Yet, her social media posts had already gone viral. Her followers decided to give bad reviews to the restaurants, even though they had never gone there. The restaurant would probably slow down for months due to the effect. The owner might not be able to pay full salaries to the staff in order to survive. The restaurant couldn't show any proof to cover the food blogger's lie. Ethan suddenly showed Robert a software that he was developing. With his knowledge of technology, he had an idea to develop a media monitoring software when he had a similar problem at the beginning of sustaining Robert's computer repair business. Ethan said that he wanted to help other small businesses track online mentions and respond to negative feedback promptly. However, he still needed some improvement. He also needed someone who was an expert in public relations. Robert was impressed by his son's ingenuity and wanted to support him. Together, they worked tirelessly to create the software. He also contacted Diana if she knew a public relations expert who could help them. Diana was happy to hear about their invention and suggested they talk with Richard, her very own husband. Richard had worked in the digital agency for years. He had many connections in the industry. Coincidentally, he was almost retired and looked for future projects post-retirement. He saw the potential of the software to revolutionize the way businesses handled online reputation management. He proposed a collaboration with Ethan, suggesting they work together to expand the software's capabilities and create a media listening agency. Ethan agreed to share his idea with one condition. He wanted to use his invention to help small businesses with better communication strategies. Even though small businesses couldn't pay them a lot, he wanted to build a thriving community of small businesses to survive. He knew how hard it was to have a small business, witnessing his father's hard work and the restaurant owner where his mother worked. Richard was impressed to see Ethan's kind attitude. He agreed and joined to develop the media listening software. They tested it on the restaurant's crisis as a case study. When they presented the software to the restaurant owner, he was immediately impressed. With the help of Richard, they crafted a communication strategy to overcome the effect of the blogger's posts. After a few weeks, they gained back the trust of customers. He recommended Ethan's software and media agency to his network of small business owners. Their hard work and dedication paid off. Their agency began to attract more clients. In 2 years, their reputation grew slowly, but steadily. Bigger businesses started to trust their agency. Richard retired early to develop his company further, while Ethan and Robert focused on updating the software. The computer repair and maintenance services, indeed, became part of the business. Robert was very content with his hard work and determination to provide stability for his family. He was sure that his dream of witnessing Ethan graduate from college became a reality. Indeed, Ethan was able to secure a job even before completing his studies. The father and son found fulfillment in his work, knowing that he had not only provided for his family but had also contributed to the growth of the local economy. The journey had been challenging, but it had also been incredibly rewarding. Robert and Ethan's story is a testament to the power of manifestation, the importance of perseverance, and the enduring bond between a father and son. Story 2. Why couldn't he commit? Healing avoidant attachment. My husband, Greg, is a loving husband and a great father. He is so mature and secure. Many of my friends wonder where I met a man like him. Little that they know, our relationship in the beginning was like a roller coaster. I never had such a relationship that awakened my own inner child and trauma. Greg had always harbored a deep-seated fear of relationships. Growing up, he had witnessed the tumultuous marriage of his parents. His childhood was full of his parents' constant arguments. As the situation at home was not harmonious, his father flirted with many women at work. My mother-in-law, Liliana, has been a woman of strength and resilience. She eventually divorced my father-in-law, who abandoned his family for good. She was remarried to my stepfather-in-law. He was a bit older than her and had 2 daughters from his late wife. Both of them were already married and lived with their own family. From Greg's story, his stepfather seemed like a good figure. He developed a deep respect for women and a desire for healthy relationships. He watched as his mother remarried a kind and loving man, a stepfather who embraced Greg as his own. Despite the challenges of a blended family, Greg found solace in the stability and affection he experienced. Tragedy struck when Greg's stepfather fell ill. He died too soon. Greg was fatherless again when we just reached adolescence. Before his passing, he entrusted Greg with a solemn promise to care for his mother. He emphasized that her mother was beyond everything, as she was the only blood-related family that he had. Greg, moved by the man who had become a father figure to him, vowed to honor that promise. Liliana was an inspiring girl boss. She provided for his son's needs as a cafe owner, even though his father was a successful media company owner. Greg helped his mother to run her cafes. He went to a business school as he aspired to be a business owner. Greg was very serious about taking care of his mother and reached his ambition. While growing up, he went on dates and was seeing several women. However, he never got into any serious relationship. When Greg's grandfather died, he appointed his only grandchild to run the company. At that time, Greg was just 28 years old. He was working a lot to run his mother's cafe and his late grandfather's company. He told me that he went on dates, but he reasoned that his work made him couldn't commit to any woman whom he was seeing. Greg and we met at a media conference. I was a journalist. I thought he was one of my peers. He didn't like to show his affluence and power. That's why I liked him a lot. He shared his values and his appreciation for family. Our connection was instant. We quickly formed a deep bond. As Greg navigated the complexities of our new relationship, he found himself struggling with a recurring pattern. I, growing increasingly frustrated with Greg's inconsistent behavior, began to question the future of our relationship. I felt as though I was constantly walking on eggshells, unsure of whether I would be there for her or disappear without a trace. I thought that Greg was actually a rich playboy. So, I decided to take a journalism fellowship abroad. I decided to step back from our relationship. I didn't want to force it. I let it go because the more I looked for his attention, it made me feel as if I lowered my self-esteem. Greg didn't persuade me not to leave him. though he wished that we could have another chance in the future. 1 month before my fellowship ended, Greg messaged me out of nowhere. We hadn't spoken for almost a year. He said he was in the city for a few weeks for a business trip. He wanted to know if I still wanted to meet him. In the beginning, I hesitated. I missed Greg. I didn't know how to explain our bond. He made me feel as if I had known him for so long. I eventually agreed to meet him. There wasn't wrong about having a coffee to catch up. Our connection was instant. We quickly formed a deep bond. As Greg navigated the complexities of our new relationship, he found himself struggling with a recurring pattern. I, growing increasingly frustrated with Greg's inconsistent behavior, began to question the future of our relationship. I felt as though I was constantly walking on eggshells, unsure of whether I would be there for her or disappear without a trace. I thought that Greg was actually a rich playboy. So, I decided to take a journalism fellowship abroad. I decided to step back from our relationship. I didn't want to force it. I let it go because the more I looked for his attention, it made me feel as if I lowered my self-esteem. Greg didn't persuade me not to leave him, though he wished that we could have another chance in the future. 1 month before my fellowship ended, Greg messaged me out of nowhere. We hadn't spoken for almost a year. He said he was in the city for a few weeks for a business trip. He wanted to know if I still wanted to meet him. In the beginning, I hesitated. I missed Greg. I didn't know how to explain our bond. He made me feel as if I had known him for so long. I eventually agreed to meet him. There wasn't wrong about having a coffee to catch up. Our connection was instant. It felt as if I just met him yesterday. One meeting becomes almost daily. He decided to prolong his business days until I finished my fellowship. I felt that he had changed, he was more consistent. Only, he hesitated to live together when we returned. We continued to see each other for a few months until Greg started to pull away. Reaching a breaking point, I decided to take a step back once again. I felt as wasn't enough. I needed space to process my emotions and to determine if our relationship was truly worth pursuing. Greg felt as if I pushed him away, he was devastated. He felt abandoned. He wanted to fight for our relationship. He asked me to meet him, at least for the last time. He promised. That evening, Greg was open and vulnerable. He underlined his fears and insecurities which began to surface as our relationship progressed. He found himself pulling away, afraid of getting too close. This avoidance, he realized, was a result of the trauma he had experienced in his childhood. I realized that I was attracted to him as he reminded me of my father. My father is a good father. Yet, he was still immature when he got married and had children. He avoided conflict and couldn't control his emotions when he panicked. I witnessed countless times when my dad left conversations with my mother. I told Greg that I hoped for a healthy and secure relationship. As much as I cared for him, I didn't want to hurt my inner child. If I left him, it didn't mean that I abandoned him. I cared for him a lot. I wanted the best for him. Whenever he pulled away, it affected my self-esteem. If I wasn't a woman enough for him, I let him go. Greg said when he saw his mother's happiness after marrying his stepfather, he wanted to be a proper man. He wished for a long-lasting relationship. But he feared loss and abandonment as he saw his mother's unbearable pain after the divorce and the death of his stepfather. Recognizing the need for help to continue with our relationship, Greg sought the guidance of a therapist. Through therapy, he began to understand his attachment style and the underlying reasons for his avoidance behaviors. He learned to identify his triggers and develop healthier coping mechanisms. As a healing avoidant, he approached me and proposed to attend a couple therapy together. He explained that he was serious about our relationship and that he wanted to address the underlying issues that were causing our difficulties. Greg and we gradually began to overcome our fears and insecurities. We learned to trust each other, to express our emotions healthily, and to communicate openly with each other. Together, we navigated challenges and conflicts with a newfound understanding and compassion. As Greg's healing journey progressed, I also understood how to keep my self-esteem and stay in secure attachment. Our relationship grew stronger. We were able to build a foundation of trust, intimacy, and mutual respect. Our story became a testament to the power of healing and the possibility of overcoming even the deepest wounds. As the years passed, Greg's fear of relationships gradually faded. He realized that healthy relationships were built on trust, respect, and mutual support. During the couples therapy, I also learned that a relationship could be long-lasting if we both committed to making it work. We had to be able to stay in the relationship even when it was full of challenges. Because problems would always come, but they would always solved. It was not force, as long as each of us wanted to commit to each other. We are married and still have arguments. But we are better able to navigate our conflicts and emotions. Especially, how to give a secure environment for our children to grow. We both commit to creating a new secure cycle, a healthy and secure attachment for our children and future grandchildren. Story 3. Home sweet home, it's not only a dream. Lila had always dreamed of owning a cozy cottage in the countryside. Growing up in the bustling city, she yearned for the peace and tranquility of rural life. But as she navigated her late 20s, the dream seemed increasingly distant, clouded by the realities of student loans, rent payments, and the daunting prospect of saving for a down payment. She couldn't secure a stable job. At her workplace, she still earned as a fresh graduate. She had applied for other jobs, but nothing came up. At least, her manager was kind to her. She heard stories of horrible bosses from her friends. Once, her boss paid her a photography course for Lila so she could grow her hobby. She took freelance jobs as a wedding photographer. However, it was still not enough because she still needed to enlarge her network and add her portfolio. Her best friend, Emily, was a constant source of support and encouragement. Emily, a dreamer herself, often shared stories of friends who had achieved their seemingly impossible goals. Inspired by her friend's optimism, Lila began to visualize her dream home in vivid detail. She imagined the warm ambience of her minimalist wooden house, the scent of freshly baked bread, and a small swimming pool. Determined to make her dream a reality, Lila sought advice from his uncle, Danny. Danny was a seasoned real estate agent. He was a man with a wealth of knowledge and experience and offered Lila valuable guidance. She asked Lila to work extra after work. Her job was to stage the houses which he would like to sell. She also took photos and posted them on the house listing website. At the same time, her uncle also helped her understand the home buying process, explained the importance of credit scores, and provided her with a detailed budget. With his explanation, Lila began to take concrete steps towards her goal. She helped his uncle to stage houses and took photos. Her uncle also recommended her to his network. Whenever she felt overworked, she took time to meditate. When meditating, she prayed and manifested her dream house. In addition to extra income and manifesting, Lila created a strict budget, cut back on unnecessary expenses, and diligently saved every penny she could. She preferred to meet friends at home and cook together, or go to the park and have a picnic. She also felt those activities were more relaxing than going to shopping malls and spending money over the weekends. Her photography service took off because her real estate clients offered more jobs to take photos of events and products for Instagram. She was lucky that her boss supported her and allowed her to work remotely as long as she could finish her job. A year later, Danny contacted Lila about a small land in the suburbs. He thought it would be a good prospect for her dream house. She was so thankful to be surrounded by supportive people. Together with her parents, uncle, and Emily, Lila visited the land of her future home. She could feel that it was her future place. She imagined once again the shape of the house, all the rooms, and the small swimming pool just in front of her bedroom. Her parents have surprisingly saved some money for Lila's future. They decided to give the money to Lila now, to help her build her home from scratch, so it would be cheaper and she could design the house as she wished. Lila hugged her parents and thanked them. She could feel that the universe conspired to realize her dream. The journey was not without its challenges. There were times when Lila was sick and overworked. She took that time to rest and meditate. She looked at home designs and plans to keep her motivated. Most of all, she had her family and her best friend who loved her and were always there to support her. Another year passed by. She finally had enough money to start building the minimalist wooden house. She gathered photos from the internet and discussed them with Danny, who was an expert in maximizing the function of minimalist homes. Thanks to her uncle and her real estate clients, she had some suggestions on where to buy high-quality construction materials at lower prices. Some homeowners also gave away some furniture which she kept in her parents' garage until her dream house was ready. Her parents also gave their free time to check the construction site more often because Lila had to finish her projects. That gave them a chance to connect more often. She was so grateful for the unwavering support of her parents. The construction took about 6 months. Finally, the day arrived when Lila officially became a homeowner. As she stepped into her cottage for the first time, she felt a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment that she had never experienced before. The dream she had nurtured for so long had become a reality. It was exactly what she had dreamed of. Some giveaway furniture was enough to furnish her little crib. She could already move to her own place. She had more space to do her photography projects. She got more and more orders to take photos for product marketing. She decided to do part-time at her job because she appreciated her manager's support and trust. However, she needed to let go of a bit of the workload and concentrate on something that she felt more passionate about. She had a habit of saving money and continued to live modestly. She started to plant vegetables in her small yard to spend her spare time. She hoped they would grow and she could be more self-sufficient. Indeed, she could save a bit more money as grocery prices were getting more expensive. She still wants to realize a small swimming pool in front of her bedroom. As she settled into her new home, Lila realized that her journey had been as rewarding as the destination itself. She had learned the importance of perseverance, the power of positive thinking, and the value of seeking support from those who believed in her. Her dream home was more than just a physical space. It was a symbol of her resilience, her determination, and her unwavering belief in herself. Story 4. From Auntie's kitchen to working at a Michelin-Star restaurant. Fred had always dreamed of traveling the world. As a young boy, he would pore over maps and atlases, imagining himself exploring exotic lands and experiencing different cultures. He loved National Geographics where he could wander in his dreams. He loved learning geography, but studying was never his best strength. Indeed, his humble beginnings made it seem like a distant dream. His parents, while loving and supportive, struggled to make ends meet. Despite their limited resources, they encouraged Fred to pursue his passions. As both of his parents worked night and day, Fred had to learn to cook and take care of himself since very young. He loved splurging his parents and relatives with his cooks, especially desserts. It was Fred's aunt, an ordinary restaurant cook, who recognized his potential. She invited Fred to work part-time at the bakery of her friends. Fred was very happy to get the opportunity. He learned the discipline of a pastry chef. He got used to waking up at 3 a.m. to prepare for baking. Fred was saving every penny to travel. He told his plan to his aunt. Her aunt supported him, and at the same time, she gave him a suggestion to get a certification to be a pastry chef. She offered to pay for him to attend a nearby culinary college. After having some thought, Fred realized that her aunt's suggestion was better. He applied for the pastry certification at a local culinary college. Her aunt paid half of his tuition fees. She believed that one day, her nephew would be successful. With her support, Fred was able to hone his skills and develop a deep love for the culinary arts. When he was at the culinary school, Fred got a new friend. His name was Harris. They met on the first day of school and found lots of things in common. He told Fred that after finishing the cooking school, he would like to travel the world on a cruise ship. Fred was so happy with the idea and dreamed that both of them would travel the world together. They browsed online job boards for a cook position on a cruise ship. They applied for the job and, to his surprise, both of them were offered the position. Unfortunately, Fred's aunt fell sick. His uncle had passed and her children working in other states. To thank his auntie, Fred decided to postpone his dream of traveling with Harris. Harris was sad but promised him that he would wait for him when he got his next chance. Fred's aunt was very happy that his nephew could be by her side. Her sickness was getting worse. Before she passed away, she gave her secret cooking book to Fred. She wished that Fred would be able to realize his dream to travel the world. After the interment of his auntie, Fred was informed he inherited a bit of money which he could use as an extra pocket money for his adventure. He made sure that his parents were healthy before he left. He promised that one day, they would bring them to see the world. Fred's life on the cruise ship was a whirlwind of activity. He worked long hours in the galley, preparing meals for hundreds of passengers. But despite the demanding schedule, he loved the opportunity to explore new destinations every week. From the bustling cities of Europe to the pristine beaches of the Caribbean, Fred experienced a world of wonders. As the years passed, Fred's dream of traveling the world grew even stronger. He knew that working on a cruise ship was only the beginning. He wanted to experience life on land, immerse himself in different cultures, and explore hidden gems off the beaten path. With a newfound determination, Fred began to save every penny he could. He cut back on expenses, found creative ways to save money, and even took on extra shifts to increase his earnings. His friendly gestures when serving the cruise passengers made him well known. He got extra tips from many passengers whenever he prepared for them special requests. After several years of hard work and sacrifice, Fred finally had enough saved to embark on his next adventure. He decided to travel to Australia because Harris was already settled there. He also always wanted to visit the continent. With Harris's connection, he found a job quickly in a popular tourist destination and spent several months exploring the country's stunning landscapes and vibrant cities. While working in Australia, Fred continued to hone his culinary skills. He worked in a variety of restaurants, from casual cafes to upscale dining establishments. He learned new techniques, experimented with different flavors, and expanded his culinary horizons. He also perfected some recipes from her aunts. One day, while browsing online job boards, Fred came across an advertisement for a chef position at a prestigious Michelin-starred restaurant in Sydney. He knew it was a long shot, but he applied anyway. To his surprise, he was invited for an interview. The interview was intense, but Fred was determined to impress. He showcased his culinary skills, his passion for food, and his commitment to excellence. His strengths also include his perseverance and patience. To his delight, he was offered the job. Working in a Michelin-starred restaurant was a dream come true for Fred. He worked alongside some of the best chefs in the world, learning new techniques and pushing his culinary boundaries. He was proud to be part of a team that was dedicated to creating unforgettable dining experiences. As Fred reflected on his journey, he realized that his dream of traveling the world had led him to incredible opportunities and experiences. He had not only fulfilled his wanderlust but had also achieved his culinary aspirations. His journey was a testament to the power of perseverance, hard work, and the pursuit of one's passions. He continues to work hard and never stops dreaming. His next dream when he comes back home is to open a restaurant and name the restaurant after his late auntie, Lucia. Story 5. Healing from an abusive relationship, finding my peace. Risa had endured years of abuse and neglect at the hands of her alcoholic husband. The emotional and psychological toll was immense, leaving her feeling broken and lost. Finally, she reached her breaking point and decided to leave. The decision was terrifying, but she knew it was the only way to protect herself and her children. It was not easy to get away and seek protection from his husband. He didn't want to divorce her and looked for ways to get their children back. Luckily, her sister's friend had an empty house in a suburban. He was abused by one of his former girlfriends. He understood her situation and allowed Risa to stay for a while, at least until she finished the divorce process. The aftermath of the divorce was a whirlwind of challenges. Risa was overwhelmed by the financial strain, the loneliness, and the fear of the unknown. She struggled to provide for her children while also trying to cope with the emotional trauma of the abuse. She worked day and night, in the morning at the restaurant and in the evening cleaning a campus not far from where she and her children stayed. One day, his husband came to the restaurant and made a scene. As he destroyed things, the owner decided to report to the police. Risa was glad that he could file a report restraining order. Yet, she didn't want the father of her children to remain in jail. Risa discussed with the restaurant owner to withdraw the legal case against his husband. She promised to pay for the damage caused. If the restaurant owner released his husband, she would ask him to sign the divorce paper and agree to give full child custody to her. As long as the husband would not make a mess at the restaurant and abuse any of his staff, he agreed. Risa came with divorce papers. He talked to his husband about the agreement. He begged him to let her and their children away for him. She prayed that one day, he could be free from his alcohol addiction and abusive behavior. When that time came, she promised that he could see their children again. She just wanted to make a better life for her children. She didn't want one day, his husband to hurt their children. Risa's honesty and vulnerability opened his husband's heart and mind. He promised to get away from their family. He would try to find a way to break free from his addiction. He never meant to hurt Risa or her children. He would seek help, and he understood if Risa would keep the restraining order. He then signed the divorce papers. Despite the overwhelming odds, Risa was determined to rebuild her life. She sought support from friends, family, and mental health community services who helped her navigate the complex emotions she was experiencing. She learned to prioritize self-care, find joy in small moments, and believe in her own resilience. As a single parent, Risa faced countless challenges. She juggled work, childcare, and household responsibilities with constant determination. She learned to be resourceful, to adapt to unexpected changes, and to find creative solutions to the problems she encountered. Through it all, Risa held on to a vision of a peaceful and fulfilling future. She believed that she could create a better life for herself and her children. She began to manifest this vision, focusing on positive thoughts and taking steps towards her goals. Though she had to juggle 2 to 3 jobs, she could provide some stability for her children. She could already pay rent and moved from the house of her sister's friend. Even though the apartment was small, she created a comfortable and loving home for her children, a place where they felt safe and supported. It was located next to a small park where she also made time for herself and meditated with her community in the neighborhood. As time went on, Risa's wounds began to heal. She found strength and resilience within herself that she never knew she possessed. She learned to love and appreciate herself and to believe in her own worth. When she looked back at her journey and realized that she had not only survived the trauma of her past but had also thrived. She had found peace, independence, and a sense of purpose. She had become a strong and resilient woman, capable of overcoming any challenge that came her way. Risa's story is a testament to the power of resilience, the importance of self-care, and the possibility of healing even from the deepest wounds. Through her journey, she discovered that by manifesting a better future and believing in herself, she could not only overcome adversity but also create a life filled with love, joy, and a sense of freedom.
Before we continue to the next story, have you subscribed to Hopeful Stories yet? If not, now is the perfect time. We're a storytelling channel dedicated to bringing you uplifting and heartwarming tales that will brighten your day. Now let's continue to another story. Story 6. Manifesting a breakthrough for a fulfilling career. Julia had been feeling stuck in her current role as an administrative assistant. She longed for a job that was more stimulating and aligned with her passions. Her job environment didn't feel appealing to her, as people were toxic and constantly talking behind each other. She prayed that she could have a breakthrough. She believed in miracles, but she also thought that she needed to create her own opportunities. Looking forward to making a change, Julia browsed new skills to acquire. She decided to enroll in an online digital marketing course after work. She found that the scope of marketing work inspired her to be creative. She spent countless hours learning about SEO, social media marketing, and content creation. After completing the course, Julia updated her resume and began actively applying for marketing positions while still working at her administrative job. She leveraged her newfound skills and knowledge to create a compelling portfolio that showcased her abilities. So she created a YouTube channel and blog as her portfolio. After months of searching for jobs from networking and online job boards, Julia eventually landed an interview at a small, innovative startup company. Impressed by her enthusiasm and skills, they offered her the position of marketing junior assistant. In her new role, Julia was responsible for supporting the marketing manager in developing and implementing marketing strategies, managing social media campaigns, and creating content. She was excited to learn more from her manager and use her new creative skills and strategic thinking to contribute to the company's growth. The new job was sometimes challenging to meet targets, but Julia thrived on the fast-paced environment and the opportunity to learn new things. She worked closely with a talented team of colleagues, and she was inspired by their passion and dedication. In her leisure time, she spent more time making more appealing content for her YouTube, blog, and social media. Her channels grew slowly but steadily. She became more and more motivated to create more content. As Julia's career progressed, she continued to take on new responsibilities and challenges. She created a habit of delivering her work and continuing on her personal projects. She was recognized for her hard work and contributions to the company's success. With her growing portfolio and reputation, she got promoted in a year as a marketing officer. Julia felt more thrived in her work. As she settled into her new role, she realized that she had truly broken free from her stagnation. She was no longer trapped in a life that didn't fulfill her. Instead, she was living a life that was full of purpose, passion, and joy. She believed that her journey didn't stop there. She manifested to continue growing in her career and her content creator projects. And she knew that it would take a lot of work, time, and patience. Story 7. I paid my student loan. I am debt-free. I was a recent English literature graduate. I found myself burdened by student loan debt. My family and we had to bear the weight of my brother's addiction too. He had asked creditors and sold my parents' valuable things at home to put up with his addiction. He even asked our mother to sell her wedding ring. My mother couldn't hold up with his tantrums, especially when he was craving drugs. She let go of her wedding ring, as my brother forced her to take it off while threatening to end his life. Honestly, at that time, the financial strain was overwhelming, and the emotional toll was even greater. The condition at home was devastating. I loved my brother, and I wanted to help him and make our family as before his addiction. The debt crisis cast a dark shadow over my life, my family's life. My family and I made countless sacrifices, downsizing our home and selling more cherished possessions. The constant fear of debt collectors from my brother's addiction added to the emotional turmoil. I felt trapped, unable to see a way out of the financial abyss. With the last saving, my father sent my brother to rehab for a few months. My parents prayed day and night for a miracle for my brother to heal from addiction. Determined to create a better future for myself and my family, I dreamed and determined on a path to financial freedom. I got more inspiration from podcasts and videos on financial freedom. I decided to take control of my financial situation. I shifted my mindset, replacing despair with hope and replacing fear with action. I had even just a bit of income from a decent job that paid minimum hours as a copywriter. I created a detailed budget, tracking my income and expenses meticulously. As I lived with my parents, I could put aside 50% of my salary to pay for my student loan and help my parents with their daily needs. I knew that financial freedom didn't come instantly. The journey to financial freedom was not without its challenges. I had to find a way to find extra income. There were setbacks, moments of doubt, and the temptation to give up. But I persevered by the love for my family. Even I had to bring food to work to save some money, so I almost never went to restaurants. Unless, when at work, they sent me to write articles about restaurants. In one cafe where I reviewed, I met with Lucy. She was a freelancer and showed an online platform to work on various projects remotely. I applied for copywriting projects and searched for a way to maximize my productivity. By utilizing AI tools to boost his productivity, I was able to increase his earnings and accelerate his path to financial freedom. I was so focused on my work, in 3 months, I could triple my income. As my financial situation improved, I turned my attention to helping my brother, who had been struggling with addiction. I supported and encouraged him to rebuild his life and find back his purpose. I remembered that since he was a kid, he had a hidden talent for graphic design. I showed him some graphic projects on the online freelance platform. He wasn't sure of his condition and skills, but I continuously encouraged him. At least try once or twice. I told him that one day we could build a marketing agency together. So I needed his support and skills. He cried so much. I had never seen him cry like that before. He apologized to me and our parents. He wanted to change, at least to try. I hugged him and told him that I believed in him. I told him that we would wait for him soon at home to start our marketing agency. With the extra income, I estimated to pay off my student loan in a year. I also bought my parents' wedding rings back. I persuaded the rehab facility to allow my brother to use a laptop strictly to design. And as I anticipated, my brother's artistic talent was impressive. I started to apply for marketing agency projects on the online platform. I shared our earnings with my brothers, who made him more motivated to get out of the rehab facility so that we both could run the business full time. My journey is a testament to the power of manifestation and the importance of perseverance. Through my hard work, dedication, and positive mindset, I am not only nearly achieving financial freedom, but also helping my family heal and rebuild our lives. I hope my story serves as a beacon of hope for those struggling with debt, demonstrating that with the right mindset and strategies, it is possible to overcome even the most daunting challenges. Story 8. Conquering the fear of public speaking. Roger had always been a shy and introverted person. Public speaking was his worst nightmare, a terrifying prospect that sent his heart racing and his palms sweating. Whenever he had to give a presentation, he would feel a wave of anxiety wash over him, leaving her tongue-tied and unable to articulate her thoughts. It didn't come out of nowhere. It was based on his trauma. When he was a kid, his older siblings always humiliated him at school. Once, he made him the center of attention when his brother punished him in the school field as he couldn't throw basketballs in the ring. Ever since, he hated having public attention. Recently, Roger's fear of public speaking limited his opportunities and hindered his career growth. He knew that if he wanted to succeed, he needed to overcome his fear. He hoped that one day he could do an excellent presentation to seize a better career. His therapist helped to overcome his trauma. He also discussed with his siblings about the trauma they caused. He accepted it was past, and he didn't blame them again. His brother, who humiliated him, was firstly embarrassed, but then he understood and he apologized. Her sister suggested he take a look at Toastmasters. Maybe it could help him to overcome his fears. The discussion with open heart and vulnerability made their connection as siblings stronger. Determined to break free from the chains of his anxiety, Roger decided to join a local Toastmasters club. Toastmasters is a nonprofit organization that helps people develop their communication and leadership skills through practice and feedback. Roger was initially hesitant to join, but he knew that it was the right step to overcome his fear. At Toastmasters, Roger met a community of like-minded individuals who were also working on their public speaking skills. He was inspired by their courage and their willingness to step outside of their comfort zones. As Roger participated in Toastmasters meetings, he gradually became more comfortable speaking in front of others. He learned valuable techniques for managing anxiety, developing confidence, and delivering effective presentations. He also received constructive feedback from his peers, which helped him identify areas for improvement. With each passing week, Roger's confidence grew. He began to enjoy the challenge of public speaking and the satisfaction of delivering a successful presentation. He realized that her fear was not as insurmountable as he had once thought. He also watched a movie King speech, a movie about King George V, who initially stuttered. He went to a pathologist and became a great speaker in front of his people. It gave him some inspiration. He also learned that many public figures were actually introverts. He learned that while extroverts may have a natural advantage in certain social situations, introverts can excel as speakers by leveraging their unique strengths. With preparation, practice, and a focus on quality, introverts can deliver powerful and engaging speeches that captivate their audience. These findings gave him more reassurance. One day, Roger was asked to give a presentation at a company-wide meeting. He was nervous, but he was also excited to showcase his skills. As he stepped onto the stage, he took a deep breath and reminded himself of all the progress he had made. To his surprise, the presentation went smoothly. Roger spoke with confidence and passion, engaging her audience and delivering her message effectively. When he finished, he received a round of applause and positive feedback from his colleagues. Overcoming her fear of public speaking was a turning point in Roger's life. It boosted his confidence, opened up new opportunities, and helped him to become a more assertive and successful person. He realized that with determination and the right support, anyone could overcome their fears and achieve their goals. Do you enjoy our stories so far? Which story is relatable for you? Before we continue, we want to ask you to please subscribe to our Hopeful Story channel. Your subscription means the world to us. It helps us keep providing inspiring short stories and audiobooks for free. Join our thriving community and hit the bell to get notifications every time we post new content. Story 9. Manifesting life partner and secure relationship. Anya had always been a driven web developer. Her career was her passion, and she poured her heart and soul into her work. However, as she watched her friends settle down and start families, she couldn't help but longing for something more. She yearned for a deep and meaningful connection, a love that would make her life more complete. One summer, Anya went on a vacation and summer course in Paris. She had always been fascinated by culture and language. Little did she know that this decision would change her life forever. While in Paris, Anya met Ethan, a charming and talented artist. They were instantly drawn to each other, sharing a passion for creativity and a love of adventure. Their connection was undeniable, and they quickly formed a deep bond. However, their relationship was not without its challenges. As Anya and Ethan lived in different countries, they faced the difficulties of long-distance love. They communicated constantly, visited each other whenever possible, and made sacrifices to keep their relationship strong. Anya knew that if she wanted to be with Ethan, she would have to make some significant changes. She decided to extend her skills by taking an animation course in Paris, hoping to create a career path that would allow her to move closer to him for a long time. Anya moved back to Paris and stayed with Ethan. He was supportive of Anya in building her skills in an animation program. She studied hard, worked tirelessly, and honed her skills. It was a demanding journey, but she was driven by her love for Ethan and her desire to build a future together. After completing her animation course, it wasn't easy for Anya to secure a job with her new skills. She almost had her visa expired. To ease her worries, she meditated and prayed solemnly that she wanted to be with Ethan. She knew that he was her future life partner. She asked the universe to help her to secure a job. 2 days before her visa expiration, Anya got an offer to do an internship at a renowned animation studio. Anya and Ethan were filled with joy and relief. Even though it wasn't exactly what she expected, Anya and Ethan saw it as a chance to be together and grow their love stronger than ever. Ethan would provide for her until she got a more stable job. They shared their dreams and aspirations, planning their future together. To their surprise, Anya got promoted to a sister company, which was an animation studio in California. They were sad that they would be parted again if Anya took the job. Ethan assured Anya that do the best for her career. He would find a way to follow her this time. One thing was for sure, Ethan knew they would be together again very soon. Now they both could save money to meet each other in the future. With her heart filled with excitement and anticipation, Anya packed their bags and embarked on a new adventure. She arrived in California with a sense of purpose to become a world-known motion graphic designer. Who knew that chasing a life partner would bring her a bigger career direction? Ethan and she always managed to find quality time together. They knew that building a life together would be challenging if Ethan just followed her without proper planning for his career as well. So they knew that they needed to be patient. They knew that effective communication, shared experiences, trust and support, setting boundaries, and planning for the future were essential for strengthening their long-distance relationship. By prioritizing these elements, they could foster a deep connection, overcome challenges, and build a lasting bond before in the end they had a chance again to be together as they manifested. They worked hard, pursued each other's passions, and created a secure long-distance relationship together. Their love story was a testament to the power of manifestation, the importance of perseverance, and the belief that anything is possible with love as your guiding light. Story 10. A miracle to cure my tumor. As a father, I was a pillar of strength for my family. When I was diagnosed with a tumor, my world turned upside down. The tumor was still benign. However, it had to be removed as soon as possible. The fear and uncertainty that consumed me were overshadowed only by my concern for my wife and children. I knew I had to be strong for them, even as I battled this time. The financial burden of my illness was immense. Medical bills piled up, and I sometimes had to be absent from work. Despite these difficulties, I kept the secret for myself. I didn't want to tell any member of my family, my beacon of hope and resilience, of this disease. I didn't want them to worry or be scared. The household economy already burdened us. Thankfully, my wife worked tirelessly to provide for our family too. My son, David, was a bright and compassionate young man. Understanding her parents' financial limitations, he hardly asked for money. He said that he didn't need a lot and he liked to eat at home rather than go out. Until one day, the pain of my tumor was unbearable. I decided to go to the hospital. The doctor suggested the tumor be taken soon, with the hope that it could be fully removed. I left the hospital with a broken heart. I didn't know where I could have enough money to pay for the surgery. I prayed that I still wanted to live. I wanted to see David grow to be a man. I want to be by my wife's side and grow old together. When we had dinner that night, David gave me some money. He said that he had worked delivering food on bicycles. David had actually known everything for the past 3 months. He saw me in front of the hospital and followed me. He found out that I went to an oncology center. He thought that I was having cancer. David told me in front of my wife that he would try to pay the hospital bill if I had to cure my cancer. He cried, as my wife did. David asked me to tell them what was the doctor's verdict. So, with tears, I told them everything. To make them worry less, I told them that I was optimistic. I still had a bit of time before deciding on the surgery. In my heart, I prayed for more time to be with my family. A day before deciding on the surgery, David sent me a photo of a pamphlet advertising a foundation that offered free medical treatment to those in need. Inspired by a glimmer of hope, David rushed me to apply. I was hesitant at first, but David told me to believe in that opportunity and apply. The application process was arduous, filled with paperwork and uncertainty. But they held on to hope, believing that there was a reason for the struggles. Weeks turned into months, and my patience was tested. My health deteriorated, and my once vibrant spirit faded. But David never lost faith. We continued to pray for a miracle, a glimmer of hope amid darkness. Finally, the day came when David received a letter from the foundation. To his astonishment and relief, I had been accepted for treatment. The news was a ray of sunshine piercing through the clouds of despair. I underwent a series of treatments, enduring pain and discomfort with courage. My family was by my side every step of the way, offering their love, support, and unwavering belief in my recovery. The doctor said that tumor was still benign, yet it was necessary to be removed before it turned out to be cancer. Slowly but surely, I began to recover after the surgery. My strength returned, and my spirit was renewed. I was grateful for the second chance at life, for the opportunity to witness his children grow and thrive. My journey was a testament to the power of love, hope, and human resilience. I had faced immense challenges, but I had never given up. My family's support and our belief in my recovery had overcome adversity and found healing. Conclusion. As you've journeyed through these 10 inspiring stories, you've witnessed the incredible power of manifestation. You've seen how individuals from all walks of life have transformed their dreams into reality through the unwavering belief in themselves and their goals. Manifestation and prayer share similarities in their focus on intention, belief, and the power of the mind. Both practices involve setting a clear intention, believing in the possibility of achieving it, and visualizing the desired outcome. While manifestation is often associated with personal growth and goal attainment, prayer typically involves seeking divine guidance or intervention. However, both practices can be seen as ways to connect with a higher power or universal energy, harnessing the power of the mind to create positive change in one's life. Remember, manifestation is not just about wishing and hoping. It's about taking inspired action and aligning your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with your desires. By cultivating a positive mindset, visualizing your goals, and persevering through challenges, you too can harness the power of manifestation to create the life you envision. What stories would you like to hear next? Share your ideas and suggestions in the comments below. We're always looking for new and inspiring, relatable stories to share. Thank you for joining us on this journey of inspiration and empowerment. See you next time.